allowing regular users to run ToolBox programs in Business Central. Hey, I'm Eric, and the ToolBox is my app where all the useful tools that I've built to service myself, either because I'm doing Business Central development or because I'm working as a consultant, all those tools have been packed together in my ToolBox app. The app is on AppSource, and we have just done a major update of a lot of functionalities, and one of them is the ability for non-ToolBox users to use the ToolBox. And what do I mean by that? I mean that on request by a lot of users, that they have built super cool scripts in the ToolBox, and they want to give the regular users the ability to run these things. And right now, the ToolBox has been up until now, the ToolBox has been very strict, and only if you're a super user, you can use the ToolBox, because you can do a lot of stuff with the ToolBox. But now we have created a way for regular users to use ToolBox programs also. Let me show you how. So here is the ToolBox. Two new things also. There's a menu because ran out of space. So now there's a menu. And we have changed the license. So if you're in a cloud sandbox, you don't need a license anymore. If you're in a Docker container that identifies as a sandbox, then you do not need a license anymore. To mess with production and all that stuff, still needs a license. Regular on-prem, still need a license. Sandboxes are now free. But let me go into interactive code. This is where where you write your programs, and you know, let's really quickly write a program here. I can see I get the table names in IntelliSense. If customer.find set, then repeat until customer.next equals 0, semicolon, message. Let's just output the customer.name. And here's my program. Looks great. I click run. Boom. Oh no, there was a bug. End expected. We better click type in. I click run again. Done. So in a matter of seconds, you can write the few lines of code that you need to do. You click run, it's done, compared to firing up VS Code, creating a new extension, connect to symbols, and connect to a sandbox and download the symbols, write your code, test against the sandbox, and then package the app together and upload to extension management on production. Hopefully you've remembered permissions and all that good stuff. That takes a long time. Here you can just go do it. But let's say that you actually now created something that is really nice and you want somebody else to use this. Then let me save this. So someone else wants to use this. Let's call the program that for some reason. If I go here on programs, we can see that there's a available for public usage. So I'm gonna mark this program as available for public usage. Now I have, I believe, another user here. Let me just refresh this. So this is a regular user, and the regular user in this case has opened the ToolBox, and you can see all the new and exciting stuff on the menu is not available to them, but run programs is. They click on that, and then they can see two programs. And if we go back to the super user, we can see that there were a test program that was also available for public usage, and this one. We could also specify a permission set, so they would have to have a specific permission set in order to be allowed to use a certain program. But now something else wants to use this, they click run, they run the program here. But they're not a super user in Business Central. They are still defined as a user in the toolbox also. So if I go back to setup, go to users, we can see that I have the God mode, so I can do anything with the toolbox. The demo user, the one that is logged in here, can only write in normal tables. Maybe we could even say they were read-only if they only use the toolbox to see something. But if I go back to this user, then what I also can do now here is that I can say, okay, let me add this one to the job queue. So now it added, someone else wants to use this program in the job queue, and if I go and say run on Monday, so it's still Monday somewhere. I can run my program from the job queue, and if I go job queue and see log regs, I say, oh no, this looked like I ran this 8 times. I didn't, but if we make this wider, we can see that the output that normally comes in the screen inside the toolbox is now getting put into the job queue log. So you get all the regular output. So this way you can take a program, say that some users will have access to use this. But wait, there's more. Let me go back to this guy. So the challenge is now that we don't really have UI per se in the toolbox. So we cannot create a page with fields. But we do have the Excel integration, and the Excel integration has been improved a lot. So the idea behind the Excel integration is that we have always had, in the old version, we have a function called xset, row 3, column 4, hello. So we could run this program, and the Excel sheet that is kind of loaded in memory all the time now has this value. We have improved this, so if we go to C3, we can now actually edit the Excel sheet from in here. So I could also go message and do Excel get, and I could either do 3333 and we get the value. I can actually also, that's an improvement, so I could type the cell ID if I want to do that. But what I have also added now is that, let's say we just clear this. Let's say we configure this as a kind of a request page. So start date, end date, that's the text, and we can just put in some, that would be a date, and that's also a date if I can hit the right key. So that's a kind of request form. And instead of doing this, then I can say x open, enter date range, and then let's do message from % to %2, and then do x get, that was B1 and B2, B1 x get B2, there we go. So now I'm gonna save this program. Excel demo with dates, and I'm going to save it including the Excel sheet. So if we clear the world here, now the Excel sheet is gone, but when I load this one, it also loads the Excel sheet. And the xopen function means that we run this, and then it opens the Excel sheet, says enter date range, because that was what we put in the prompt. And let's change this to 25 instead. So I change that, I close. Then our program grabbed it from the Excel sheet and used the numbers. Meaning that if I'm back here to the user who's only allowed to run programs, they cannot see it because I have not yet given them access to this, or I'll give them access to it. There we go. Go back, hit F5. Now it's here. We can see that this one is with Excel. I click run. It opens here. We can change. I don't need to change it now. So you can use the Excel sheet to have setup values and whatever you need for the program to run, and kind of build a simple UI in the Excel sheet for this. So that is how you give regular users, we will not call them muggles, but you know what I mean, regular users access to your ToolBox scripts, but still you're in control of what they can use and what they can do. If you haven't tried the ToolBox, there's a link below. Give it a go. Thanks for watching.